There's three gentlemen here to my right, Ray Flores, Chris Bleck, Jonathan Hood. They all work for ESPN Radio in some capacity. My name is Adam. I also work at ESPN, but it's not about me. It's about these guys. So I'm going to pass the mic around to these guys, and they're going to tell you who they are, what they do, and we'll go from there. All right? Yay.
John, start?
No,
Okay. All right.
By all means, Ray.
All right, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a sports anchor for ESPN 1000. Work for Game Night with Jonathan and Chris and Adam, and also do stuff on the weekends. And then when I'm not doing that, I do ring announcing for boxing and mixed martial arts events all over. So do a couple of different things. So, Chris?
More?
I'm good. I'm a sports anchor during the day and during the evening, and then on the weekends I do fights. So that's what I do.
Thank you. I'm Chris Bleck. I'm a producer at ESPN Chicago for Jonathan and other hosts for Chicago's Game Night, weekend programming. I'm also a instructor here at the wonderful Illinois Center for Broadcasting, Chicago campus. So you may have me for a Radio 1 or Radio 2 class. And yes, I'm a radio producer.
I'm Jonathan Hood, talk show host at ESPN Chicago. I've been doing this for 21 years as a broadcaster of some sort. Worked at The Score from 92 to 2005. Been with ESPN since 2005. It's a blessing to be in this profession because everyone just doesn't get into the business. I had to learn a long time ago that if you have drive and determination and you just do whatever it takes to get there, then you'll get there. So along with working as a talk show host weeknights with these guys, I also am an instructor at Illinois Center for Broadcasting, Lombard campus, the country club. And I also work, yes, the country club, which I prefer. And I also work with the UIC Flames doing pre and halftime as a host. That's something I picked up last year. And we'll go into why I have 3 jobs a little bit later on in our seminar and our conversation. But it's a great time to be in the business. I'm glad you guys came today.
If you guys would each give us a brief history of like how you got where you started, internships, first jobs, just history of how you got to ESPN and how you got to be sitting here in front of these fine students.
Well, as I mentioned, I worked at The Score as a talk show host, as a producer, worked my way up as a talk show host, and it's just been a interesting ride because when The Score first came on the air in 1992, they were looking for interns, and I got myself in the door and became an intern. In 1994, I was able to be a producer, an associate producer, worked my way up to have my own show in 2000, and just have been going ever since. In 2005, my contract wasn't renewed. Once you write that term down, contract is not renewed, that means fired. Okay? You're going to hear that term in your walk, in your journey in the business. Contract not being renewed means fired, not allowed to come back. And that was me. 2 weeks after I was let go at The Score, I was working at ESPN. And that doesn't happen for everybody, but again, it's a blessing to be out of work for a couple of weeks and then someone says, yeah, we need you, come on in and we can really use you. And that's what happened to me. So, I never take anything for granted, and I want you to either. I've worked a lot of different shows with a lot of different people. Anybody that you hear in sports radio today, I probably worked with them on a show, produced them, or either have hosted with them. So a lot of experience. I'm just 40, but it seems like I've been doing this a long time, and I have. But it just seems fresh to me every year. It seems fresh to me all the time for me to be able to do different shows. I've done shows from just regular general sports talk shows to NASCAR to MMA to professional wrestling. I've done a lot of different things, so I've got quite a vast resume. There's a lot of trees that died for my nonsense I've done in my career, that's for sure.
Thank you, Chris. I initially, right away, when I started coming up and stuff, we all have dreams of being professional athletes. And I realized I couldn't jump but 2 inches off the ground, so you right away try to find something to be involved in this business. So I tried to go ahead and I found some things, and I went to school for this and had an internship at ESPN 1000. And I actually got an intern. My first internship was for a local television station in Northwest Indiana, where I would do like council meetings and a lot of crazy reporting for just stuff that was off the wall. I did high school play-by-play. I mean, football play-by-play, basketball play-by-play. Did MMA. When I started coming up through the business, MMA was barely in its infancy, and the UFC wasn't as popular, so I was doing play-by-play for a local fighter that was around there. And subsequently, that led to other opportunities down the road. But to me, in my opinion, internships are so key because you get an opportunity to work with the professionals in this business. I mean, I interned with Jonathan. I interned under Chris and Adam, and we actually went to school together, but they were a couple years older than what I was. But I was interning on their show and learning under them and trying to grow and develop. And I subsequently, a couple years later, a job opening came up with ESPN. I was nearing my end with the local television station in Northwest Indiana, and I've been hired there for about almost 20 months now. So I've been there close to 2 years in September. Also, you never know when opportunity is going to knock at the door. I was doing a local MMA and boxing radio show here at one of the local colleges here in Chicago. And then I got a call 2-3 months into it about a guy who said one of his ring announcers dropped out. Would you like to ring announce? Absolutely. Pays, a couple $100. As a college student, that seems like a lot. And even nowadays, it's a decent amount. So I went and did my first ring announcing job about 6 or 7 years ago. And I never thought that it would lead to another revenue stream. And it has taken me back and forth from here to Europe, over 10 times. It's taken me to cities that I've never would have dreamed of going before. As we were joking earlier, I have been to rogue places, some crazy places like Miami, Oklahoma, like Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been there 3 or 4 times. Great airport, fantastic food. Just some weird places, but I also have an opportunity to go to, I've done some shows in London and stuff, so you never know where it's going to take you. But if the job opportunity's out there, if a paycheck's in front of you, you never say no. Even if there's not a paycheck in front of you, you never know what it's going to lead to. There's certain things that you should go to or just try to expose yourself, as we kind of joke about shaking hands, saying the good afternoon or good evening, sir. How are you? Shaking their hand, looking them in the eye, letting them know who you are. Because honestly, no one in this city or in the business cares about who you are. They don't even care who we are or who I am. You have to continuously remind them because everyone has a short attention span. So that, in a roundabout way, is what I do. I'll turn it over to Chris, who is...
Oh, thank you, Ray.
Oh, sorry.
No, well said. And 2 points that both Jonathan and Ray mentioned were internships. So I went to Columbia across the street. And from the start... Listen, I'm an instructor here. I'm just giving you the facts. What's that?
We'll edit that out in post.
Yeah. So I went across the street, but from the moment I started, I knew I wanted to get into journalism and or radio in some capacity. So even as a freshman, I was trying to get an internship. So I used college as just opportunities to get internships. You don't meet people in the business until you're an intern. So I know a lot of people come to this school thinking, I want to be on this one radio station. I want to do this one thing. That's not going to help you in the long run because then you only have contacts at that one radio station. And if they're not hiring, then you're out of luck. So, to my personal story, I interned at about 3 or 4 different radio stations when I was in school. One of the summers when I was back home, I'm from Libertyville, Illinois, I got a chance to intern at Will Rock, which is a rock station in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And interned there one summer. The next summer, they hired me. So I was 19, and I had a job in radio. It was a crappy job. I was driving their van around for promotional events. And when you live in the suburbs, most of those events take place at grocery stores, banks, gas stations, bars. Yeah, that's the reality of suburban radio. You go out and you meet people, kind of like what Ray said. You say hello to the listeners. So someone has to go out there, set up the van, get the broadcast going. I was like an engineer / promotions / producer / just a guy helping out. And that's what you do at small radio stations. I also interned at The Loop here downtown, which was a better internship because I got to do programming stuff. while still going to school. And then my senior year, I interned at ESPN 1000. After I graduated, I went back to Will Rock because I didn't have a job, so they took me on for a second time. So I actually worked there for 3 different summers, doing promotions. I was a board op. I was the co-host of Plant Chatter, a plant show at 5 a.m. on their Saturday mornings, where a gentleman bought an hour of time to promote his plant store, but he knew nothing about radio, so someone had to be there to turn on the mics and to get him in and out of segments and to say, you know, Martha from Kenosha wants to talk to you, and bring her on and do a really bad radio show. So I did that for about 6 months, and then I was hired at ESPN 1000 to be a producer. The reason why I was hired is because I knew everyone there. They needed a producer, and I was at the top of the list from guys that they knew. Right? It wasn't just a random hiring process, and this guy looks good, so let's bring him in. It was because I knew someone. And just like I got the job at Will Rock when I was back after college needing a job, it was because I knew them. And I contacted them. I said, hey, I'm back from school. Do you guys need someone? So they hired me. So the key is get as many different internships as you can. I know it's a year-long program here at the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. But the more people you meet and the more internships you do, that's how you're going to get yourself started in the right direction in this business.
What did you guys do at your internships, like that set you apart from? Because they, you know, we have right now we only have 5 interns, but we used to have, you know, 20 interns a summer. So what did you guys do in your internships that set you apart, so they would call you when a job opened up?
I'm going to start this round. Is that okay?
Cool.
Sure. I think being polite and always eager to participate is something that goes a long way. We get a lot of interns who are just too good for the internship. They don't really want to help out. They just want to say that they're an intern at a station like ESPN. And being polite to everyone goes for, you know, the person who may hire you in the future, or someone who's just working in the office, and when they say, hey, do you know this guy? And they go, oh, yeah, nice kid. Like, that's what you're looking for, is when you're the nice kid intern, you know, so everyone thinks good of you. I'd also say don't have a problem working past the required internship hours, and don't be opposed to coming in on days that you're not supposed to be there. I wouldn't just show up unannounced, but if you're only scheduled to be at your internship for 2 days a week and you know you have nothing to do on the weekend, you know, find those producers and hosts who are there on the weekends. Can I come in and sit in on your show, see what you guys do, and try and be an extra helping hand? That's always a positive when you're in your internship.
Right.
Thank you, Chris. Pretty much piggybacking off of what Chris said, you know, just being number one, you have to be very cordial. You can't go in there with an attitude or whatever the case may be. Back when we were interning, or I don't know, I'm sure this is how, we would have to go out and we'd go to get food and stuff like that. Hey, guess what? It's part of the business. I mean, I didn't mind it. I mean, because that's your job. That was, you know, that wasn't a part, totally your job, but, you know, it came with the territory. Also, when you get into an internship, especially in the city, be prepared, like, as soon as you get your internship, start to ask questions to the producers, because you never know when they're going to call upon you to do something that's of relevance to the show. I can recollect it was a part, I got in, it was like a 4:45, and I started at 5, and then Bruce Levine, who's our baseball reporter and the host of Talking Baseball, called in and wanted this sound to be turned around in like 2 minutes. Now, I'd only been there in about 2 or 3 weeks, and I was scared. I was pretty scared, you know, because you didn't want to mess it up. So I went ahead and turned it around, but because of the questions that I asked these guys while they were there, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And you want responsibility. You're not overstepping your boundaries, but you want them to know that when it's go time, they can count on you, that you are right there, that you're willing and able, and, you know, if they ask you to do something, that you can do it effectively and you can turn it around in, you know, really quickly.